What if I told you that some of the most chilling moments in history were captured not by cameras, but by secret audio recordings? Imagine hearing the last words of a condemned prisoner, moments before their life ends in the electric chair. In 2006, a man walked into the Library of Virginia with a briefcase that would reveal a hidden world of executions. These weren't just any recordings, they were real, raw, and unfiltered moments from some of the most controversial executions in American history. Let's dive into the top 5 electric chair executions that shocked the world and the secrets they uncovered. 1. Alton Wayne, 1989, the execution that changed everything. The year was 1989, and Alton Wayne's execution by electric chair in Virginia would forever alter the way we view the death penalty. Convicted of brutally murdering 61-year-old Levin Marshall, Wayne had spent an agonizing 11 years on death row, the longest of any inmate in Virginia at the time. His crime was shocking, a brutal act that sent waves of fear through the community. The courts, determined to serve justice, decided his fate, and on August 30, 1989, at just 34 years old, Wayne's life came to an end. But what made this execution stand out? It wasn't just the crime, nor the sentence, it was the way the execution was documented. This execution would not be like others. It was captured on tape, and not just any tape. These recordings were raw, unedited, and brutally real. The sounds of the electric chair were preserved in chilling detail, every hum, every confirming voice, and most haunting of all, Wayne's last words. The process itself seemed almost mechanical, like a procedure, almost robotic. Yet, as the ritual unfolded, Wayne's calm, measured voice pierced through the cold efficiency. "What's about to happen is murder," he said. In an unimaginable moment of grace, Wayne forgave everyone involved in his execution. His final words, so poignant and calm, echoed in the chamber. This was no ordinary execution. This moment wasn't just a legal process, it became a profound moral statement that challenged the very ethics of capital punishment. As the switch was flipped and the chair came to life, the room fell silent. You could almost feel the weight of every second, a heaviness that hung in the air long after Wayne's voice had faded. It was a stark reminder of the complex intersection of life, law, and death, forever etched in history. 2. The hidden tapes, a secret no one was meant to hear. In the summer of 2006, an elderly man walked into the Library of Virginia, carrying nothing more than a plain briefcase. What he handed over that day would unravel a dark secret that had been buried for decades. Inside the briefcase were tapes, raw, unedited recordings of executions by electric chair. These weren't rumors or myths, but real, chilling audio of lives being cut short by the state. The tapes, which had been kept hidden for over 16 years, contained a level of transparency and truth that no one was ever meant to hear. The man who donated these tapes was R.M. Oliver, a former employee of the Department of Corrections. His motivations for keeping these tapes hidden remain a mystery. Why did he wait so long to bring them to light? And why had he kept them under wraps for so many years? These tapes were part of Virginia's execution history, tapes that captured the cold, clinical rituals of state-sanctioned death. For years, these recordings were sealed away, classified as restricted materials, hidden from the public's eye. But it wasn't just the existence of these tapes that was shocking, it was what they represented, a reality of capital punishment most of the world had never seen. NPR's investigative team refused to let these tapes remain hidden. They fought tirelessly to expose the truth, to shed light on a practice that many wanted to keep buried. Their relentless pursuit eventually forced the Library of Virginia to release the tapes, bringing a flood of uncomfortable questions to the surface. The world had never seen such raw, unfiltered insight into the death penalty. Was it an act of protection, or was it a more sinister attempt to bury the truth? The mystery surrounding the tapes only deepened with each new revelation. These tapes would go on to shape the conversation about capital punishment forever, challenging the ethical and moral boundaries of society. 3. The ritual before death, a cold, methodical process. When the execution process begins, everything is recorded with chilling precision. The tapes reveal a ritual, one that's almost mechanical in its exactness. The inmate is escorted into the chamber, strapped into the chair, and the warden verifies everything. There is no room for error. Every action, every moment is documented. The sound of voices confirming details, the methodical ticking of the clock, all captured for history. You can almost feel the weight of each moment, as the room becomes quieter with every confirmation. There is no room for mistakes, no room for emotion, only procedure. But just before the switch is flipped, there's a moment of humanity. The tapes capture the final ritual, asking the condemned if they have any last words. In Wayne's case, his final words were ones of forgiveness. "I don't hate anyone, I forgive everyone," he said calmly. This simple act of grace, in the face of such a mechanical and terrifying procedure, is a chilling reminder that even in the coldest of moments, humanity can still shine through. These words would be forever etched into the recordings, creating an eerie contrast between the clinical procedure and the raw emotions of the condemned. The unsettling blend of cold precision and heartfelt words forces us to grapple with the moral implications of the death penalty. 4. The last words, humanity in the face of death. As the tension builds in the execution chamber, the room falls into a strange silence. The final ritual begins, the headpiece is placed, and the execution is about to begin. But just before the switch is thrown, the inmate speaks. "I don't hate anyone. I forgive everyone." These are Wayne's final words, calmly spoken in the face of imminent death. It's a moment that sends chills down your spine, so calm, so serene, in the midst of an unimaginable fate. These words cut through the cold, sterile atmosphere, reminding everyone in the room that, despite the procedure, a life is being taken. What happens next is almost mechanical. The warden checks the key's position, confirming it's in the correct place. The minister delivers a prayer, the staff wipes the sweat off the inmate's forehead. Each movement is timed, each word is checked and rechecked, yet beneath this cold precision, you feel the tension. The final moments, the anticipation, the room holds its breath. And then, the switch is thrown. The sound of the electric current is almost drowned by the silence in the room, and you realize that everything, humanity, procedure, death, has just collided in one shocking moment. 5. The impact of the tapes, a window into history. The tapes that were hidden for so long didn't just add to the archives, they changed the conversation about the death penalty. Before these tapes were revealed, there had been no publicly available recordings of executions by electric chair in Virginia. These tapes were a game changer. Suddenly, the public was faced with a level of transparency that was previously unimaginable. NPR's investigation brought these chilling moments into the light, forcing the public to confront the raw realities of the death penalty. But the tapes also brought up something deeper, something uncomfortable. What you hear in these tapes isn't dramatized, it's the raw, uncut truth. The procedural dialogue, the confirmations, the religious prayers, and Wayne's final words, it's all there, preserved in history. The tapes offer both technical insight into the process and deeply human moments that make us question the morality of what's happening. They leave us with one haunting question: how does society reconcile the legality of execution with its inherent humanity? These recordings were not just historical records, they were a reflection of the moral struggle between law and life, and the consequences of such decisions echo through time. These tapes provide a chilling, unfiltered look at the electric chair executions that shocked the world. They force us to confront the ethical and moral dilemmas surrounding capital punishment, while also highlighting the very human moments that exist even in the most terrifying of procedures. These recordings don't just capture the final moments of death row inmates, they capture the humanity of the entire process. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of dark, mysterious stories from history. Let's keep digging deeper into the shadows of the past.